All right, cool. We're going to run it like that. Hey, what's going on, y'all? My name is LB the Realist. This is Surrealistic Studio. Sorry for the awkward intro. I was just seeing if I could just run it like that, and looks like everything's in frame, and I could go ahead and do it. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Red Fawn Fallis followed her mother's footsteps to Standing Rock. Now she faces years in prison. I'm not going to read this whole article. This is actually from Earth First Journal. earthfirstjournal.org. And last off, where we left off with Red Fawn, she actually had a hearing on January 29th with what I believed was the 29th or the 28th, one of those dates, but actually I believe it was changed apparently to the 22nd of January. And she actually got into some trouble. Let's see. I'll just read the beginning over here. After spending a year in jail awaiting trial, Oglala Lakota Sioux activist Red Fawn Fallis pleaded guilty last week to 2 federal felonies related to her arrest while protesting the Dakota Access Pipeline. As part of the plea agreement, prosecutors dropped the most serious charge against her, which would have carried a 10-year mandatory minimum sentence with the possibility of imprisonment. Fallis was arrested on October 27, 2016 during a large-scale law enforcement operation to evict pipeline opponents from a camp alongside North Dakota Highway 1806. After officers tackled Fallis and pinned her on the ground, they alleged that she fired 3 shots from a revolver underneath her stomach, which did not result in any injuries. Last month, The Intercept revealed that the gun in question belonged to a paid FBI informant who was in a romantic relationship with Fallis. The informant, Heath Harmon, had infiltrated the protest camp starting in August 2016 and was near Fallis' side for much of the day leading up to the arrest. So, as a condition of the plea bargain, federal prosecutors dismissed the count of discharge of a firearm in relation to a felony crime of violence, and the state of North Dakota, which had previously charged Fallis with an attempted murder, agreed not to reinstate or pursue any charges related to the incident. Prosecutors have recommended Fallis receive a 7-year sentence, although U.S. District Judge Daniel Hovland can still impose up to 10 years in prison based on Fallis' guilty plea to civil disorder and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Fallis' attorneys are recommending a sentence of 21 to 27 months, including 1 year time served. Jesus. This is the shit you go through when you're a political activist and you're on the front lines and you're a leader. They targeted her specifically. They targeted her out of the crowd. They even targeted her before they went and arrested her. Before they were even on site, they had plans on arresting Red Fawn. Let's see. So, to where? So the gist of it is she was supposed to go to some kind of meeting, and she missed the meeting, and she was actually rearrested. I'm trying to get to the part where they mentioned that so you can get the specifics on it if you haven't heard it already, that is. Let's see, after spending a year in jail following her arrest, Fallis was transferred to a halfway house in Fargo. Earlier this month, federal marshals rearrested her after she failed to attend a mandatory adult education course and returned late to the halfway house. At the January 22nd hearings, this is what they say, January 22nd, both prosecutors and defense attorneys expressed support for returning Fallis to the halfway house with the addition of GPS monitoring. Sometimes when I read stuff, I'm like, is that wrong? In like mid-sentence. Let's see. While Fallis' case has been one of the highest profile among the hundreds filed against the anti-DAPL protesters, she is not the only one to face harsh penalties for her role in the protest. On January 21st, attorneys for Michael Rattler Marcus, another pipeline opponent charged with federal crimes related to the October 27th raid, announced that they had arrived at a plea bargain with the U.S. government. Prosecutors would drop the most serious charge against Marcus use of a firearm to commit a federal felony offense in exchange for his plea of guilty to civil disorder. Prosecutors and the defense are jointly recommending a prison sentence of 36 months. 36 months. So 20-something, 36, 37 months. That's what it all boils down to. These people are going to spend time in prison for activism, for standing up for clean water. That just... you know, you can say that, oh yeah, she had a case before this. I have serious doubts about that one as well. I mean, her roots run deep. She was a member of AIM, the American Indian Movement. Her mother was, I forget her name, Yellowwood, and she was a prominent member of the organization, and they've always been targeted as an organization. So this just doesn't surprise me at all. It's very sad that these people are going to spend... She's already spent time in prison, went to a halfway house, got rearrested off of some bullshit probably. And now she has to spend more time in jail. It's ridiculous. So, if you pray for Red Fawn and pray for her family. And pray for others like her, because this is a very dangerous time to be an activist or to just speak truth to power. I've gotten so much hate on standing up for, you know, for migrants in Africa and the slaves in Libya and net neutrality, just everything that you would think, you know, all the people, any person with empathy in their heart would understand. It gets thrown back in my face like, no, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about, or, you know, all this shit. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. It just goes to show you that people have different philosophies. People think different. We're all different beings, and we all have our own viewpoints. It just, you know, I don't see how you can really defend this. How, you know, how do you defend power? How do you defend an establishment that has all the power, has all the money, and has everything to do with the desecration of the planet, and good people serving time in prison for standing up for what they believe in? So this is just insane, y'all. Pray for her, pray for the family. She has another hearing May 31st. Just want to make sure I got that right. Yeah, a sentencing hearing for Fallis or Felice was scheduled for May 31st. I think it's Fallis. A sentencing hearing for Fallis was created for May 31st. Her attorneys intend to call several witnesses. Defense attorney Bruce Ellington said at the hearing in Bismarck. Ellison is also a longtime attorney for Leonard Peltier, a member of AIM, who was in prison for the killings of 2 FBI agents in the 1970s in what many indigenous activists and human rights groups have labeled a wrongful conviction. This goes as an example. Young people all around the U.S., young indigenous folks, are using Red Fawn as an example. And hopefully there is some justice left in this world, because, you know, it gets very disheartening, it gets very discouraging, even coming out here and reporting on stories, and it just, story after story is usually negative. Sometimes I just gotta revert back to music and just go to what I know, you know. So with all that being said, y'all, I love you guys. I hope you guys are well. If not, I sincerely hope you do better. I could be totally full of shit with everything that I say, and I'm fully aware of that. Take that with a grain of salt. With all that being said, love you guys. Love, peace, chicken grease, and light. And until next time, oh yeah, do me a favor. If you guys like hip-hop and rap, check out my mixtape. It's called The Rising. It's on SoundCloud. It's I'll leave a link in the description so you guys can check it out. I talk about some political issues as well as some non-political issues. It's a mix of a little bit of new music with mostly old music. Just something I wanted to put out there for you guys, just so you know that I still do music. You know, I just don't do politics. I like to do comedic videos on Instagram and all kind of stuff. So just drop by and let me know what you guys think of that if you're into that kind of stuff, that is. All right, until the next time.